My name is Dan Cutler, and I'm going to teach you how to swim basic freestyle now. We're going to learn how to move our arms, we're going to learn how to move our legs, we're going to learn how to breathe, and then we're going to pull it all together into a very simple but easy freestyle stroke.
So the freestyle stroke is also known as the crawl stroke because it resembles that of a crawl. You're essentially reaching with one arm, then reaching with the other, reaching with one arm, reaching with the other, and so on and so forth. Right now we're going to focus on the three main parts to the freestyle stroke. And for that matter, every stroke has three main components to the arm movement. The first part of every stroke is called the catch. The catch is when the arm enters the water and it's basically trying to grab onto a big mass of water that sets itself up for the second part, which is the pull. And while one arm is in the pull phase, the other is in the catch phase, and so you get into a freestyle rhythm. Catch, pull, catch, pull, catch, pull. So the third part to every stroke is called the recovery, and it's what you're looking at here. And it's basically the arm setting itself up to begin the catch and pull phase. In all four strokes, the recovery happens outside of the water, except for breaststroke, which happens in the water. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about legs here. The flutter kick is the kind of kick that you do in the freestyle, and it's basically just kicking back and forth, kicking back and forth. The question I want to address about the kick is actually where does the kick begin, which is a question I've heard from students over the years. Does it begin at your ankles, at your knees, at your hips? The answer is C. The kick should originate from your hips and sort of travel down each leg like a wave. Just make sure you keep your ankles and your knees loose throughout the kick. Alright, so let's get into some drills and start learning proper freestyle technique. The first drill that I want you to learn is called fingertip drag, and what this drill does is basically forces your arm into the proper position. We're talking about the recovery phase when the arm is coming out of the water. As you can see here, my elbows are high and my fingertips are dragging across the surface of the water when I bring my arm forward. So watch my fingertips as they kind of just graze across the top of the water. What that does is force your arm into the right position. You know, proper technique during the recovery phase is basically high elbows and then letting your forearm and your hand kind of dangle underneath your elbow. So you're basically, when your arm comes out of the water, you want to think about lifting with your elbow, letting your forearm and hand dangle underneath, and then reaching forward in front of you. Lifting with your elbow, letting your forearm hand dangle, and reaching forward. And this drill is what helps you do that. So the fingertip drill focused on technique. In this drill, the catch-up stroke will focus on timing, the timing of your stroke. Basically, you don't want your arms at opposite ends of each other. You don't want one arm out in front and the other completely back. You want to kind of overlap your stroke as I'm doing here. You can see that one arm will wait for the other arm to sort of touch it or tag team it before it begins the catch and pull phase. Now let's talk about breathing. First thing I want to say is I want to dispel the myth about feeling obligated to breathe on both sides. It does not matter which side you breathe to, and if you can only breathe to one side, that is fine. A lot of world-class swimmers today breathe on one side. It's no big deal. As long as you get your air and you can continue to swim and swim smoothly, it doesn't matter which side you breathe to. If you happen to learn how to breathe to both sides, that's great, but it's not necessary. So how do we breathe? We breathe by rolling our head to the side, taking air in through your mouth, holding it for a few strokes, and then exhaling through your nose and mouth to get another breath. You don't have to lift your head out of the water to get a breath. You want to keep it down and let it roll to the side, left or right, to get that air. So we've learned about what to do with our arms, we've learned about our legs, we've learned about breathing, we've learned a few drills to help make it happen. So let's just go over it real quickly. Entering the water. Catch, pull, making sure to keep the flutter kick going throughout the stroke. High elbows, let your hand come underneath. Try to overlap your stroke. Stay relaxed, and you're swimming freestyle.
So that's basically it. It's as simple as that. That's how you swim freestyle. And now we're going to move on to the breaststroke.